Oh, very brief one tonight. It's late, took me a while to get to it, and I'm just out of the habit. So, yeah, this is my first one since VCF last weekend, which was tons of fun. I'm sure videos about that are going to be trickling out pretty soon. I was just watching Ben Heck's video on it, which seemed like even a better time than I was having, so that was pretty excellent. But yeah, it was a good time. Had some chats with friends, played with projects, built NES USB joysticks in a short period of time for fun. That was fun. And yeah, let me just get to it then, because all I really want to do tonight, since I have a limited amount of time, really gotta wrap up some other work and go to bed, but I would be remiss to miss 2 weeknights in a row. Let us see. So she survived. She's back here. Hey, Wereworm is on. I'm so sorry you've missed the last couple ones, because I feel like they were ones that you really wanted to see. So it's good. It is good to have you back. Yeah, as far as loot, it didn't go very deep, but one moment. Hold. Am I missing parts? I might be missing parts. Huh. Oh, no. Here. Picked myself up a desoldering station, so I think that this is going to be great for purposes of streaming and projects and whatnot, because it seems to work in general. We'll have to do a test on it. The unfortunate thing is now I don't have anything to desolder because, you know, I already did the cartridge and all. But we will have to play with this at some point. I have not figured out how to open up the sucky chamber on here, so there is much to learn. But it does seem to heat up and suck. I tested this at the show. And for $75, I'm pretty happy with that, because I've been looking at ones for a while, and you know, they range at like $300. It's not uncommon. So if this works at all, I will be very happy in it. Patrick Scarrett says, "Howdy, I met you at the show. You showed me the NES setup. Great to meet you. I would probably remember you if you described yourself, though of course don't feel compelled to do that. But yeah, there were good, plenty of, like a surprising amount of people came by and messed with the thing. There was at least one, like, honestly, one or two, like maybe 8 or 10-year-old kids who just came by and were like, "What is this?" and were thrilled by it in a way that I would not have expected. So that was, I don't know. There's nothing like seeing the joy on a child's face, you know? They just light up. So that was cool. But yeah, you know, a lot of people came by and typed on it, and a handful, like maybe 5 to 7 people really stopped and had like a good chat about it. So Patrick Scarrett says, "I was holding a Commodore dataset at the time." That seems vaguely familiar. I tend to tunnel vision on people's faces, so I would probably remember you by facial features. Anyway, I'm sure I remember you. And every conversation that I had with people who came up to the booth was awesome. Also very interesting, because at VCF you have just these wildly varying levels of, you know, like, you know, just varied interests and focuses and different skill levels and various things. So you end up kind of explaining different versions and different scopes of things to different people, which is a lot of fun, because sometimes you have to, like, it's a lot of fun helping somebody out who like really doesn't do stuff related like this and has, you know, that's just not like the thing they do, so they don't know, and like stepping them through what the heck is going on. And then, you know, on the other side, there's the people who like really get it, and they're like, "Oh, so how did you do X, Y, and Z?" And then you have to like remember how you did it and explain it. So that every time was a lot of fun. And Wareform says, "Saw him later, but I fell asleep right before your streams went up." I mean, that's what I figured. I would assume you keep up. That was the other funny thing too, is the amount of people who walked up and were like, yeah, like I started watching them recently and I've been trying to catch up, and I'm like, dear God, don't try and catch up. Just don't do it. You will kill yourself. It's not worth it. They're mostly long. I don't know that I'd say boring videos, but you know, they're slow. You don't need to watch the whole thing. So please, dear God, your call. I mean, I guess I get views, which is good, but I can't believe anybody does that. Like I can get Wereworm. Like if it's a nightly thing, it's pretty intense, but if you are like starting just now, there's already 30 like 2 to 5 hour videos that you have to keep up with. Anyway, Wereworm said, I saw you in Ben Heck's video, and I was just, because I literally just watched it, like I was just chilling on the couch, and saw it, and I was like, oh yay, cool, the first VCF video, and kept looking for myself at the wrong times, so I might have to go back through and see if I can find the back of my head. Okay, so that is a desoldering pump, and I can't wait to find a use for it. Needed one for a long time. And then, how shall I do this? I will prepare yourselves. I'm about to move this camera just because I don't have a much better way of doing this just at the moment. So sorry. There's my gross basement because I haven't cleaned it in a while. It's all gross. But at the very end there, you can see that is, let's see, this might be able to make some distance, but you won't be able to hear me, so, and my baby is trying to fall asleep, so I will just walk you to the front of it, and then come back, and move this stool. I just love this form factor. They're cool machines. Honestly, I spent a bit much on it, but, you know, you don't really see them pop up too much anymore. And I really like that form factor. I used to have one that I got in my big Mac haul a few years back from New Jersey. And I left it behind. And that is sad. So it was fun. That one, the guy said that the hard drive was going in it, but he gave me a complimentary hard drive to go with it. And so I have already installed the fresh hard drive and cleanly installed my retail copy of Mac OS 8, because at some point I went stupid on eBay and, you know, spent $50 on a box with a Mac OS 8 CD in it. But that was fun because I actually got to use it on an appropriate computer. So I'm not quite sure what I'll do with it. I mean, I never have time to mess with this stuff anyway, so it's just nice to have it and have a replacement. But I haven't installed BOS on a PowerPC Mac in a while, and that could probably take it. I wonder if it would run Rhapsody decently too. Wereworm says, Ben Heck video about minute 26 and 42. The handsome gentleman in the back. I'll have to go rewatch. Because, I mean, like, I was right in that area. It's not like the floor is super big, but last time I was in the big iron room, which is sequestered a little bit. And this year I was out in the crowd with the micros and whatnot, and like kitty corner to the YouTube table. And I didn't take the time to go talk to anybody this time because I don't know. I'm not their friend, you know? And I met plenty of other cool people. So those are that is the loot. And now Everyone said show your loot besides the desoldering station. That's it. Oh, there actually is one thing, but it's not a pickup. It is my friend Dave Cooter, who was on here just before VCF. He popped into the chat, and I slept on his floor at the show. Very cool dude. Very nice, very accommodating. And I hope I'm saying his last name right, because I have never pronounced it out loud to him. But he does so much silly stuff. So at VCF, he was working on... he had this neat thin client that is basically a box with an FPGA in it, which of course they have jailbroken, which is stretching the term because it's just, you know, they got a JTAG programmer and plugged it into the JTAG headers, and bada bing, now you have access to the FPGA to reprogram however you want. they in themselves are pretty interesting. But he's writing an Apple II implementation for it, and it's quite well along. So that was very neat. Oh yeah, but that got me sidetracked. So the whole thing is, so he gave me one of these, which is, if I can open it, another project he's been working on. So obviously everybody knows about the blue SCSI, right? Which I don't know that much about, except, you know, it was going around recently. Why can't I get this thing open? I might just have to cut it. But he decided, well, I can do that too, and I bet I can do it, you know, cheaper and smaller, and so he did. And, you know, just because that, not also necessarily because there's any specific need to, but just because it's fun. So he has created the green SCSI, which is a Teensy 3.5, and basically just a board to you know, reroute the pins. And I assume he's already programmed this. I'll have to ask him what the deal is, because it has, the Teensy 3.5 has a micro SD card on it, so I have to assume that that's where you put the files. But yeah, theoretically, I just solder this thing up, and that's it. It's a SCSI drive. So I must play with this, and I was telling him it's nice just to have a Teensy 3.5, because I love Teensies, and you know, having powerful microcontrollers that run at 5 volts is very convenient. So put that back in the bag so I don't lose it. But that was a loot, I guess. All right, so that's pretty much VCF catch-up, except for that leads us right into the state of the machine, which I have forgotten one thing here, which is the cart. So, cart's fine. Oh, actually, cart is not fine. I need to... Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me describe the state of this thing after the show, and the things that we need to do really quickly just to get this thing back up to where we were before. When I was packing up, I broke one of the wires on here. That one. It's sad. But we'll solder that up real quick. Sorry, that was a disgusting burp. This guy. So whole thing. So if you saw the stream of me fixing stuff I got to VCF, you'll be, you know, vaguely aware the keyboard was not behaving correctly. And I finally figured out what it was. I posted a comment somewhere, but for those of you who haven't seen it, basically the ribbon cable, which is now sitting over in a box, was so old and worn out that it just started, because it soldered in right, you know, through the top of this board, and just from being flexed a fair number of times, the wires just started breaking just above the solder connections, and that was what was up. So I just popped it off because it was basically gone anyway, and I soldered the pin headers directly up to the board, which works fine. And then I had to resolder the cable onto the back, because running them this way would kind of work, but it was shorting out on this pin, and it was making a whole column mess up, so I just resoldered it to the back. And then it worked perfectly. Hardware-wise, it worked perfectly through the whole show. And this seems sturdy enough, so whatever. I'm happy with it. And yeah, so Werewolf says the gal getting hot issue. That leads me to, so that's not something we need to fix, because, you know, it works. I already fixed it at the show. But I ended up, if you will notice, that card is missing the mapping decoding gal. And that is because I'm sure it's captured on video somewhere back in history, but one of the gals that I used for this board, I fucked up one of its legs, and I think that was because I think it's the ground leg that was messed up, and I think it was a complete red herring. I think the only reason that gal was getting hot was because it wasn't making great ground contact, and was thereby doing weird current draw things. I have no other explanation, because now it was that one with a really wonky leg, and these have not exhibited the same problem. And as soon as I resoldered this thing, everything was perfectly fine. So yeah, I assumed maybe that gal was like going bad, and some of the flip-flops were finally frying and whatnot, but apparently not. But that does mean that still what I ended up doing, because it was getting hot and being annoying, was I yanked this gal, since I didn't really need it for the show, because, you know, that mostly is just selecting the floppy disk, and I ended up just bridging the chip select coming in directly to the chip select for the chip with a bridge wire right in the IC socket, and that worked fine for the show. So that is one thing we need to do. I think those are the major things. There are basically three major things. One, I have to program a new gal, which thankfully I have some more of those, so we will reprogram that and get it in there. This clock for the floppy controller I took out. Oh, when I was doing the video when I got to VCF, I was pulling power off of that socket to use my LED for continuity checking, and I have forgotten which way around it goes. So it's not plugged into power right now, and I need to review that and fix that. And then resolder this wire, and finally basically just uncomment code so that we're doing the print the FDC register bit again, and then we will be back to pre-VCF square one, which is just where I want to be, so that we can get back to working on the floppy controller. And I don't have much more time to do more than that tonight, so let us just get to it. So firstly, I haven't taken anything out of the box of crap that I can VCF yet, so oh, actually, no, sorry. There is a little loot. Not anything super crazy, but I have a bag of stuff that I bought at a table. Are these radio shift parts? I can't. Oh, wait. No. I don't know. But I have two of these. They are ISA connectors. So I figure that's useful if I want to connect ISA anything to something. These are, I was hoping they'd be better than they were. I thought these were Super I/O chips. They are not, because it's 8C206 integrated peripheral controller, and they were super cheap. So I was like, why not? And I was hoping it was like one of those early 90s all-in-one, hard drive floppy disk controller, ISA bus interface, serial parallel Super I/O chips, and it's not. It basically is a PC's interrupt controllers, I think the timers, the programmable interval timers, and like maybe some bus decode logic. So I mean, might still be useful for something at some point, but they're not quite as cool as I was hoping they were. But for $1, can't complain. And then we'll see if these work, or if I ever really do anything with them. These are Cosmac chips, which I don't know a ton about. I actually had to Google them, because I was like, dip CPUs, $8. I will play with that for sure. And so this is very early, one chip CPU solution from like the mid-ish 70s. And if you know some of your retro computer history, there's it was used in the Cosmac Elf and stuff, and was a little bit of a dead end, but it's a very early CPU made by RCA. I don't know if these actually work, but someday those might be fun to play with, because old weird CPUs. I like weird CPUs. So we'll just put those in the IC bin, and I'll just throw this somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, yes, getting this on there. Wareworm said, for next VCF, ditch the floppy controller. The system will need a paper tape reader and punch. You have no idea how much I want an ASR33 teletype. They are beautiful. I also ripped apart my my barely working in the first place power situation here, so bear with while I figure out how to get power to anything. I had a nice long extension cable here, and apparently I threw it away. Hold. Wait, I keep forgetting about wheat. You saw it, you know it, you love it. It's got a lot of likes. Yeah. Way to call me out, Wareworm. I missed the deck keyboard. I like how we had the same thought at the same time. I already plugged it in. Like, first thing when I got home, I plugged it into the VT420, and it does not power up whatsoever, which is not surprising because it said needs repair. There's a couple things going on here. Ooh, let me not drag stuff off the table and break everything. Firstly, obviously, it needs a clean. Secondly, there's not like screw holes on the bottom. So I'm wary about taking this apart. I'm assuming that it's probably just clips, because I rubbed this down and did not feel I felt nary a screw hole, so I might just have to risk it for the biscuit. But I was told by the people around me at VCF, possibly this just has a fuse in it on the 12-volt power, so yeah, hopefully, maybe. Could also just be just as fried as the other keyboard, but probably worth screwing with someday. Either way, a lot better than, you know, rebuilding the other keyboard. And again, no idea who that was. Ridiculous shout out to whoever just left that at my booth while I was away, because, I mean, that's just fantastic. I have never gotten such a donation in my life. Okay, that's a power situation. It seems like it might work. Oh, I just turned this thing on without the soldering iron plugged in at all. It does not like that. Not throw these screws all over the place. Oh, also, so I put the lid on, you know, screwed it back in for VCF purposes, and I somehow still have, let's see, 5 screws left. You tell me. I don't know where they go. I looked around inside. I don't see anything that's not screwed in. It's just one of those things. Okay, catching up. Dirt Piper says, I missed a deck keyboard at VCF East. Oh. You were at VCF East. You missed picking up a deck keyboard. Gotcha. Still kicking myself for not copying it at $5. That's pretty good. That is not bad at all. Derek says, welcome back. I hope to attempt some project streaming myself at some point. Even did a test today, but still can't decide what camera configuration to use. You could go with my method of just kind of shitting on a workbench and then turning it on. Highly recommend. I actually do have a new lens on this now. Before it was a not smart Canon lens, like an old school Canon lens on an adapter, because I had them sitting around from an old hand-me-down camera, and I was like, oh, that'll be cheap. Then I realized I made at least $10 off of YouTube now, so might as well treat myself to a $30 eBay lens that actually has autofocus. And so here we are. And that's the biggest streaming upgrade that I've made thus far. Okay, and I'm catching up with a bunch. David Cooter says, which, hi David, I was talking about you earlier. If your ears were burning, I assume that's why you got on. Again, thank you for being a wonderful host this VCF. Had a great time. I hope you get your 6502 core figured out. Or that you finally just allow yourself to just give up on it and move on to another project. Which I don't see happening. But yeah, good times. And always leftover screws. It's the law of it. Dirt Piper says, are they screws for the cartridge? No, because they're, thank goodness, at least the NES itself doesn't have security bits. So that's kind of nice. So you can tell the difference because they're just regular Phillips head screws. Sorry, I just need to concentrate for a second. I bet that's totally not an important signal too. Pin 1, what's on pin 1? Literally not connected to anything. Nice. Brilliant. Well, there's that part done. Christian Voyager says, I had a fun experience at the free table, got a Lenovo ThinkPad T440 with a broken hinge. I think I saw that one. Replaced it yesterday with a spare I had on hand. That is convenient and lucky. There was a lovely Easter egg inside. Apparently they had lost the hard drive bracket and apologized for it in Sharpie on the drive and signed it VCF Midwest 17. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I have never picked up anything at the free table, and I feel like even if it's, I tend to like grabbing like old technical books, just because they give me like good nostalgia feelings of like going to the library when I was a kid and, you know, going to the technical section and learning things. But I have not. I have never, I mean, it's only been 2 times, so that's not a big sample size, but I've never picked up anything from the free table. But anyway, Christian Voyager proceeds. Loved your project. Missed it being powered on, though. Had to look you up to see it in action. Oh, that's a bummer. It was on most of the time, so that really is a bummer. Might have been early one of the days because I stumbled in a little bit late a couple times. But yeah. Sorry that you didn't get to see it in person. Thanks for checking it out. And Dave says, never give up, never surrender. That is good. Good. Build that core. By Grabthar's hammer. Build that 6502 core. What am I even doing? See, this is why I said this has got to be a brief one, because I mean, my brain always starts losing it when I do these streams, but it's late. Anyway, okay, so that's that. I suppose I can do that. All I can think is plug the cartridge in, which is definitely not what I'm doing. Inject the cartridge? Right, okay, next thing is, let's program a gal. Let's see if I remember where the desktop stream is, or the desktop view, or the desktop whatever it is. Capture. Okay, I have no desktop capture all of a sudden. That's fascinating. Huh. Oh, well, now it works. Okay, that's fine. Doody-doo. Can you tell that I haven't used this in a minute? And I have to reset up everything? What was I doing? Why am I going to Chrome? What I need is WinKuppel. No, I don't even need WinKuppel. It's already compiled. What I need is extra pro. And what I also need is just to move this out of my way for a second. And it's not plugged in because, again, everything is chaos right now. Okay, let me pick a gal. Once I figure out where they're at. Haha. Found ya. And there's a wire in here for some reason. Cool. Alright, and this should be good to go. I should just need to grab the ROM mapper JED file and zoop it on in. ATF 16V 8B. Oh, and actually, also the funny thing is I shouldn't even have to like change any source because I was working on my MacBook last time, so I don't even have the versions of the source that I updated for VCF on here. So I don't think we have to do anything. ROM FTC program. Oh, very good. And that's that. Just bend the legs on that fresh al fresco chip. That is, nope, I'm going to fuck up one of those legs. And I don't want to do that twice. Okay. So that should pretty much be the hardware fixed. Oh, right, this clock crystal. That's a fast one. Let me just, there's a standard. There's a standard for which pin is which on clock crystals, and I just never remember what it is. So, hold up. I am going to look up the specific clock crystal, though, because I have this sinking feeling that it's not actually a standard. I feel like I've seen them be different. It is a ECX 100AX. ECS 100AX. A data sheet. Yoobity-doobity-doo. Show me your numbers. All right, pin 1 is no connect, and pin 14 is +5, and pin 14 is the one across from pin 1. And therefore, I think this is probably already in the right orientation. Yes, it is. But look, I didn't want to take any risks, all right? There. I don't want to explode it. I don't think I have any more of those clock chips around. Okay, now that's it for our stuff. So I guess just plug this back in. And I guess start by seeing if it still boots. That would probably be a good check before I do anything else. Okie dokie. Restart the video capture. Oh, I'm probably also going to need to feed power into this thing, huh? Probably. Let me get the video capture set up, though, because I always need to reset it every time. Oh. And video. And power. Oh, I did not relate the excellent story from VCF of so first night I get out on Friday. Me and Dave are kind of setting things up. I start playing Mario on the Nintendo because this was like the end of the night. Things were pretty much good to go, so I just pulled everything out and put my Mario cartridge that I brought with me in so I could play a little Mario just for shits and giggles. Guy wanders up and yeah, you think this is all broken now? Guy wanders up and says he very, very drunk, but you know everybody's having fun. It's Friday at the beginning of the show. It was all good. And he demands. He says, "Oh Mario, I got to play Mario. Let me have that Mario." After much talking, turns out he's the guy I bought this NES from. So that's pretty excellent. All right, what else is fucked up on here then? What else? Is my decoder bad? Did other connections go shitty? Usually the thing that kind of goes wonky on this thing first is the 5-volt rail not really 5-volting correctly. As such, all of the actual wires on here look okay, I think. I don't see anything obviously broken or bridged or anything. So let me see if the 5 volts looks weird, because sometimes it looks weird when the cartridge is not making decent contact. Yeah, I should catch back up with chat a little bit while I'm doing this, and maybe so you don't have to look at a black screen. David says, Dave, your name is Dave. One year I grabbed a few hundred floppies of some CAD package that had already been archived online. Nice. Hey, but you have the physical thing. That feels good. Christian Voyager says, my 10-year-old son Milo aspires to be a YouTuber one day. He asked me to wish you good luck on your project. He was at the show with me. Cool. Thank you very much. I probably wouldn't recommend it. I'm not making any money. Thankfully, I have a decent day job. I'm just doing this for fun. So I would highly recommend that. Is do it for fun, and if something good comes out of it, then that's great. Just if you're gonna do it for fun, commit. Wereworm says, if we only had a power LED. You know what, Wereworm? I'm tired of your lip. I'm tired of it, you hear? Decent volts. Zip, zip. Power. Where is it? No, I had it right. I had it right. I'm gonna turn that off because is my power backwards? I don't know how that would be possible, but the meter was going backwards, so that's fun. Oh, which ones are my power? Okay, pin 32 is power, pin 16 is ground. Let's see about that, because that don't seem good. All right, so ground is over here. And power is over here, theoretically. Yeah, no, so that looks right. That looks fine. That looks like just under 5 volts. So why'd it look backwards on the socket? Please tell me. what did I do? As far as I could tell, I had the orientation right. It's the same way I always do it. It's the same way I always do it. I'm not clearly bridging anything. Yeah, these look fine. And I have this marked for pin 1. Pin 1 goes over here. Let me just pop this guy out and check it at the socket. Check it at the socket. So that would be here and here. Looks right there. Okay, now it looks perfectly fine. Now it looks perfectly fine. Did I have those things in backwards some weird way somehow? Who knows? Who knows? These are the mysteries of the universe, and I won't ask too many questions. Let's see what it looks like now that I've got this back in here. Just fine. Fascinating. Fingers crossed. No, it's still not doing anything. That's cool and fun. And fun and cool. Let me take out the gal just because that's the last thing I did. And just bridge the connection like I was doing at the show and see if that does anything. And that is in on one, out on. Excuse me. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I screwed up the socket by putting the wire in there. That is completely possible, if not probable. Because these are cheap sockets, and they're not really meant to have a big old pin shoved into them and survive. Okay, we are bridged. Yep, and that's it. I have screwed up those pins. That's great. I mean, it's either that or this chip is programmed incorrectly, but I really doubt that. Because I can pretty much just look at these and see that they are a little wonky. See if I can somewhat bend them back into shape. Maybe. Should also do, well, let's just see. Let's just see if that was enough. Yay! Solved. Cool. All right, so we're at least back to where we were at the show now. And actually even better because the gal is back in, so we are technically should be accessing the floppy disk now. So I think the last thing is write the software, the last revision of the software prior to the show back to the cartridge, and we are done. Dave says, ooh. Dirt Piper says, forget the power LED, power sodium vapor lamp. At least a power neon would be pretty sick. Dave says, didn't the cable loop over the top of your flash chip? I'm just going to read his really quick. Double checks the last episode. And okay, check the show video. Cable hooked up the right way. Whole board was turned around to the show with the cable twisted. Yeah. I mean, it's the cable's marked. I mean, it's all kind of shitty, but I don't know. I think I had it right the first time, so maybe it was just plugged in shitty. Wareworm said, Dirt Piper, I think it's working, but I can't see anything. Oh. That took me a second. For the power sodium vapor lamp. Yes, I think it's working, but I can't see anything anymore. Yeah, Wareworm was arguing with Dave, basically. They were having a back and forth on how the cable was. And Wareworm says, and order a GoTech in over my cold, dead body. No, that's not true. There's no particular reason I haven't ordered a GoTech, but I am not using a GoTech on this project. That is too highfalutin. I like old, crusty mechanical things. All right, anyway, that software thing. So that I can wrap up my other work and go the F to bed, because I have more work to do in the morning. It just keeps happening. Okay, so for shits and giggles, just this is up conveniently tomorrow. Let me restart code. Cool, 19 sex crimes. That's a lot of sex crimes. So I'll just make sure everything's still working on this end, which why would it not be, but whatever. Blink.ps1 that I should rename someday. And is completely pointless because the ROM is already built. Inserting the EEPROM in the programmer in the meantime. Okay. And program it up. Switch our chip. 29EE010. Yeah, still got it. Load. Browse. Basic.bin. No, you're not going to get me this time. Check ID bit off. Ah. I can learn. I can learn from my past mistakes. Cool. All right. I should shove this in there, and that should be that. And today is another day. Okay. Yay! And that looks like a sane value from that register, if I do remember. So, congratulations, we have made 0 progress. But technically we made negative progress for the show, so, you know, 1 step forward, 1 step back. That sets us up for actually doing floppy disk stuff tomorrow, which I will be in better shape for, because right now my brain is a toast. Wareham says, for testing only on the GoTech. I mean, yeah, that's a reasonable baseline. Ooh, and then I will leave on, Dave says, could have bought an 8-inch neck floppy drive at the show. I resisted the urge. I was looking, I thought someone said something about 8-inch floppies for sale. I was like, you know, I bet that would work with this floppy controller. I bet I could get it going. That would be pretty fucking funny. And I think they were gone by the time I actually looked for them. Oh well, I would not have splurged on them anyway. Okay, well that's today. We're back in the swing. I was worried because this tends to be my thing that I might forget to go back to streaming, and I did not. So here we are. Feels good. Thanks everybody for popping on. I didn't expect so many people today, and chat was absolutely full. So thanks for hanging out. I will see you tomorrow. See ya. Love ya. Bye.